Clear the boogs from your nose. People don't want to see the boogs. I don't know why. Okay, let's get this going. So I'm Ryan. I'm actually Ryan AM, Ryan after Moto. Over here we got Ryan BM.
Living in Cambodia, making videos about living here, sharing it with you.
The BM should probably stand for bowel movement because he's crap compared to me, but it actually stands for before Moto.
We got some delicious pork noodles, and it's with these rice noodles, these thin vermicelli style rice noodles. We've got some bean sprouts here, we're gonna throw those in, and there's also a sauce that comes with it, which is often used for dipping the pork.
Ryan before Moto might have noodles, but look deep into his eyes. That's an incomplete man.
On the city end,
And it's because he doesn't have a scooter like I do.
This is part of the motorbike buying district, I guess. There's a lot of bike shops around here. After this meal, I'm gonna start walking this street, just going into bike shops, trying to find the bike that I'm looking for. We're gonna go deep into how to buy a bike, where to buy a bike, what kind of bike to buy, what to look for, how much you're gonna pay.
It's buying a scooter in Cambodia, but it's more than that. It's the transformation of a man from scooterless to this complete human being you see before you. It's all here. It's all right now. Stay tuned.
Y'all don't know people like this. Y'all don't know people like this. Y'all don't know people like this. Y'all don't know people like this.
Let's start by talking about the scooter options in Cambodia. Honda, baby.
See the Scoopy over there, see that a lot. Of course the Honda Wave, that's popular, it's a semi-automatic though. These ADVs here are really sweet. Nice looking machine. These Honda Today's. These electric? PCX is another very popular brand here. Bigger bike, good bike. This is the Click. They say it's for girls. It's not really for girls, but it's got the step through. So got the floorboard down there instead of Airblade has kind of a piece in between there. Women don't like that because they might be wearing skirts and you gotta step through.
It's the most popular brand, the most respected, and for good reason. I've had 4 Hondas in my life and I've pretty much loved them all. There was the weed whacker I bought that snipped my toe. It's like, why am I barefoot weed whacking? I take the blame for that. I take 100% the blame for that. Other popular brands here are Yamaha, Suzuki, Daylin. There's some Chinese brands. I'm not messing with anything but Honda. There's a reason why it's the #1 selling motorbike in the entire world. It's a brand I trust, and because it's popular, it means it's easier to fix, to get parts for it, and there's probably more options when it comes to buying one as well. Cambodia doesn't actually manufacture Hondas, or pretty much any bike, I think. Most of the scooters in Cambodia were imported from usually Thailand or Vietnam, but you'll also find bikes imported from Japan, China, Korea, even India. A lot of Khmer people will tell you that the bikes built in Thailand are better than the ones built in Vietnam. But there's a bit of a feud going on between Cambodia and Vietnam, so it might just be that. I'm not really sure.
Thailand in Japan, no Vietnam.
No Vietnam.
Another guy told me not to worry about that. They're the same. The engine is built in Japan, and that's really the most important part. For the record, I lived in Vietnam. I drove around on a Honda built in Vietnam, and I had no problems with it, so really not a concern for me at all. The very best bikes, though, are apparently built in Japan and imported into Cambodia. However, they're a lot more expensive, and to me, the price difference, not really worth it. They were all out of budget for me. I was looking to spend under $1,000. The Honda that I was looking for is the Honda Airblade, which I actually owned in Vietnam, and I love that bike. I rode a lot of different scooters in Vietnam, and it was by far the best. They say once you go Airblade, you never go back. But there are other contributing factors to this decision. In Cambodia, if you are riding around on a scooter that's 125 cc's or less, you do not need a license. No license necessary. Now I can get a Cambodian driver's license pretty easily. I can just take in my Canadian license. I have to do a couple health tests, probably some eye tests, fill out some paperwork, pay a little bit of money, and then I'll get the Cambodian driver's license. However, as a foreigner, they only give it to you for a year. You have to renew it every single year. I just don't feel like I need it. In the city, driving around on a bike more than 125 cc's isn't really necessary. I considered maybe buying a bike that I could go on road trips with, but those bikes aren't great for driving around the city. And right now, I think just one bike is enough for me. For driving around in Phnom Penh, you want something that's highly maneuverable, something that's easy to drive, which to me is an automatic. I don't really like the semi-automatics. Semi or semi? What? Those are the same words. The semi-automatics are not difficult, but to me, if I'm going to be shifting gears, I'd prefer to have a clutch than for it to be a semi-automatic. I'm sure a lot of people argue against an automatic versus a manual transmission, but for a small engine scooter, it really doesn't make that big of a difference. The repair costs are minimal. You can get a transmission replaced here for about $100. It does use more gas, but gas here is so cheap and the mileage on these bikes are so good that it's like maybe 50 cents a week more that I'll pay. Also, from what I've read, the automatics are better in hot climate countries because they have a fan built into them. So if you're sitting at a stoplight and the sun's blaring down, there's no wind cooling down the engine because you're not moving, there's less of a chance that you'll overheat if you have an automatic. I also wanted something with a little bit of speed, not necessarily because I want to drive fast.
Jesus, man. Flying along there with no helmet on. That's the epitome of stupidity. Ooh, that's kind of fun. The epitome of stupidity.
I want to be able to get around people quickly. If I can zip around a tuk-tuk real quick, it's going to make my life better. I'm going to be happier. I'm going to pass that happiness on to you guys via a smile. Oh, can't do it. Fucking hate smiling. It's the worst. Smiling. The very first bike shop I went into, I learned a valuable lesson about the Airblade. In Cambodia, they don't call it an Airblade. They call it Ablad?
Airblad? Airblad. Airblad?
Airblad.
Yeah. No? Yeah?
Bông thì đó Airblad, còn đó Airblad.
Ablad.
Airblad à?
Airblad. Yeah.
Bên Airblad kìa. Airblad. Không đai Airblad.
Yeah, maybe.
Honda Cambodia actually stopped selling Ablads a few years back, so they're really not that popular of a bike here. Kind of hard to find. The first shop I went into didn't have any, but of course their uncle's shop did. So he said, get on the back of my bike, I'll drive you to it. I did that, despite this being a stranger and me not having a helmet. It was just a short little ride though around the corner.
All right, just dropped me off at another shop. Yeah, the Airblade over here. I don't know if that's for sale.
This kind of became a theme though. Oh, this isn't really what I'm looking for.
Oh, well, my other shop or my brother's shop or my uncle's shop, they have more Ablads. Let's jump on the bike. I'll take you there.
We'd get on, they'd zip me over there, I'd look, and kind of repeat the whole process again.
That one looks like it's in pretty good shape. I need my shoelaces.
Somebody always wanted to help, and of course, probably because they were getting something from it.
So this is a 2011, it's 850. Pretty good shape, and it's fuel injection, which not all of them are. Maybe the best option so far. I got this guy here beside me. He is adamant in like taking me around and showing me all the bike shops. So kind of letting him do it. I don't know what he wants out of it. I'm assuming he gets a commission from the people to buy from, which doesn't really make sense. He's not really helping that much, but it's the way they do it, I suppose.
Some of these people didn't even work at any bike shops. They were just hanging around the bike shop area looking for people to help, I guess.
This is crazy. There's tons of mechanics, bikes being sold. This guy in the salmon colored shirt here, he's anxious to help me. He's from across the street, taking me over here. I guess they see a foreigner and they're just gonna help.
Ô, click, đây click không?
Click.
Airblad à?
Airblad. Yeah.
They would ask for your telephone number, and then they would drive off and look for what you were looking for and call you if they found something, or they would tell you to get on their bike and take you to places. But after a while, I just said, I'm just going to walk. Thanks for your help, but I'm good. I just want to do it myself, walk around, look for a bike. But even then, people are stopping me and going, what are you looking for? And I tell them, and they're like, no, we don't have any, but this guy over here might have one. They're yelling out, Ablads, Ablads.
Yeah. Hold on. Hello.
Không đai em lấy.
No, maybe. Can't say for sure.
And at all these places, I was recording the information I was finding, the year of the bike, how much it cost,
900. 900.
the Ks, which is the equivalent to the mileage in kilometers though, any other information I needed. If they said this one was built in Vietnam, this one was built in Thailand, I would record that even though I didn't really care that much. If I saw something with potential, I'd start the bike up, rev the engine a little bit. You want to make sure that it's on the center stand before you do that, or the bike will take off and kill an old lady. I inspected it, I looked at the tires, tried the horn, the signal, the lights, the brakes, all that stuff.
You can see there's cracks in it though. It's not great shape. I think we can do better.
I basically did that for like 3 hours, and then I stopped for a coffee to reassess the whole situation.
All right, got a coffee. Rolling things over. Look at all that knee injury. Kneed a guy in the teeth in fighting class and cut my knee.
Lies.
Yeah, so I've been through the streets. I've seen a lot of Airblades. I've made notes, trying to figure out what I want to do. I'm concerned that the prices I'm getting quoted are for white people.
A legitimate concern.
So I basically decided to sit down, do some research online a little bit, which I have been doing.
So I took all the quotes that I had collected that day and I compared them with bikes on Kamai24, which is kind of the Craigslist of Cambodia, as well as Facebook Marketplace. Two things that I had been monitoring. I've been watching them for months really, but I haven't really had any luck with them at all.
But I keep finding bikes that are mega cheap, really good deals, and I send them messages. I don't get any replies. Kind of just sitting here doing that same thing again. I haven't heard back from anybody.
Well, I did actually get some replies, but they weren't hopeful at all.
ហ្នឹងហើយបងមានចំណាប់អារម្មណ៍បងអញ្ជើញមកមើលបានបង
Hey, Khmer people, what is this guy saying? And more importantly, why is he sending me an audio message in Khmer when I clearly don't speak the language? I sent him a text message in English. I don't know why you would assume I speak Khmer. I don't speak Khmer. Yeah, so I get the feeling that a lot of these posts are bait and switch situations. They get you to contact them by offering a great deal, and then they go, oh, I don't have that anymore, but I have other stuff, and they get you to buy something that's totally different.
For the past month, I've been just waiting for some expat to be selling their bike. It's just easier. I can communicate with them, and also they're often leaving, and they're just looking to sell it, looking to get rid of it.
There are a few expat Facebook groups to check for this. There's one called Expat Buy and Sell Advice in Phnom Penh, another one called Phnom Penh Buy and Sell, Motorbike Forum Cambodia. That's just to name a few. I did see some Ablads on these groups, but at the time when I saw them, I just wasn't ready to buy a bike yet. And then when I was ready to buy a bike, I basically monitored them for like a month and nothing came up. So it didn't really work out for me. I guess just some bad timing.
But my best option, I think, so far is 2011, $850. I haven't tried to negotiate at all. Hopefully, I can talk them down, maybe $100, maybe if I'm lucky. But I negotiated hard with somebody else just to kind of feel it out. It was the same exact bike, kind of using it as like a dry run for this next negotiation. He went down to $875, which is a little bit more than the bike that I saw originally for $850 there. So same bike pretty much. I tried $750 pretty hard and did a walk away, and the guy was just like, get out of here. It's been quite the day. I don't know what time it is, but it feels like I've been out here for hours.
So I pulled the trigger. I went back to, I think it was the third place I had visited, and I made a deal.
Yeah, I talked him down to $800. It's the cheapest I've seen it. And kind of prefer to buy from a little tiny shop like this with a nice couple running it rather than one of the bigger dealerships who kind of jump on you like hawks. Can you guys read backwards, Kamai? Whatever that says, that's their phone number. Just check the description and I'll give you the full details of the shop just in case you're interested.
The negotiation was basically her saying the price and me saying, no, 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 this price. And I think it was like her at $850, me at $750, and we both just chipped away. Like no this, no that, no this, no that, no this, no that. The whole time knowing full well that we're about to meet at 800. As for the actual process of buying a scooter in Cambodia, it's actually pretty simple. You want to make sure that it comes with a card, and you want to check this card to make sure that it matches the bike. It will have somebody else's photo and name on it, but don't worry about that. The card is basically to prove that the bike has been imported into Cambodia legally and all the import taxes have been paid. The lady that sold me the bike didn't speak English, so we had kind of a fun time communicating with each other to communicate the fact that the card was very important. She took it, she threw it on the ground, and then she kind of made a face like somebody farted. And I understood. Don't lose that card, that's an important thing. Then they took my passport, they filled out a receipt, and this receipt is kind of the only proof I have that I own the bike. So if anybody questions that, then I show them the receipt. They can call the shop, and the receipt has the phone number on it, and they can confirm that, yes, I bought the bike there. Kind of a wacky system, but that's the way they do it here. And at least I don't have to wait in line at some government office. You can actually get the bike put in your name and get the card with your own photo on it, but everybody says it's not necessary. The lady at the bike shop said, no, you don't need to. It's a bit of a hassle. I think it costs $30 to do too. So if you don't need to do it, you don't need to do it. I'm not gonna bother. Definitely check everything on the bike, and if there's anything that's not working, have them fix it before you buy it. This bike's brake lights weren't working, kind of an important thing.
So he's gonna fix the brake lights, I believe is what's about to happen. This is what I've requested.
Also, a lot of the bikes in these shops won't have mirrors on them. I think this is just a space thing because the shops are a little cramped, so they take the mirrors off so you can weave in and out of the bikes easier. I don't really know, but if it doesn't have mirrors, definitely make sure they put mirrors on it before you buy it. Same thing with the muffler guard. Some of them didn't have muffler guards on them, and they would always say, oh, we'll put that on, don't worry that that is missing.
I hope he's gonna place that back light.
Sure, we'll figure it out, but just my point is that you buy it and then make sure everything's fixed up. You put air in the tires. He's getting the oil change right now. It's a bike mechanic shop right next to it, so it's handy. I did have to pay for the oil change. That was $5. I don't think that's standard that you get an oil change when you buy a bike, but it is kind of important if you do buy a new bike. Get the oil changed right away because you don't know how long that bike's been sitting for. Some fresh oil in it. It's really going to help. So the guy who originally helped me showed up again. He must have saw me coming back in here and popped in and looking for a commission. I don't know if that's on me. I don't think so. I'm not really going to pay him because he didn't really do much. Although I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't have found the bike if I didn't stop here and push me into the shop. He was just driving ahead of me and being like, airblade, airblade, which is pretty much what I would have been doing anyway. He did end up asking me for money. He actually asked the shop first for a commission, and they said no, I think. He said something to the lady, and the lady was like, nah. And then he asked me for $5, and I didn't have $5 on me, so I couldn't give him $5, but I did end up throwing him, I think it was $2 or $3, whatever I had on me, just for the small amount of help that he did give me. Right now they just went off to do a photocopy of my passport, which scares me because they took my passport, but the brake light seems to be working. Oil got changed. Showed me it was American oil, which apparently is a good thing. Oh, and I forgot to bring a helmet. Once I paid, I got my documents, and the guy had me follow him to a helmet store, which was nice of him to do. And I got this helmet for, guess how much? How much did this helmet cost in Cambodia? $3. I do not recommend a $3 helmet. I recommend you spend more than that on a helmet. I actually have a helmet here. I had it and I didn't bring it with me, so I just bought this just as a temporary thing to get me home. But definitely spend more than $3 on a helmet. I bet you I could crush this with my hands. I could definitely crush this with my hands. And that's it, folks. That's how you go from this to this. Thank you for watching, and please, if you are entertained by my art, I don't make vlogs, I make video art, or VART for short. If you enjoyed my VART, if you want more of my VARTs, if you just want to be in the vicinity of my VARTs, then please support the channel. Comment on my VARTs, thumbs up my VARTs, share my VARTs. Whatever you can do, let's do it, dude. All the way. This visor is like, you can't even see through it. It's like somebody just took mayonnaise and just wiped it all over it.
Prefer when I'm by myself. I don't wanna hang around y'all. Pray for good health. One day I'm really gon' ball. Fuck around and buy the whole mall. Breaking that cake. Flexing 700 in the bank. Not a superhero, I don't save. Look at my face. Look at my grades. Don't match up, no